So this session is a session on spirituality. Even though we may or may not like the term, but it's a term which you will find that is used in the English vocabulary, in the English language. And it's probably one of the terms which is closest to what we want to talk about when we talk about the concept of tazkiyatun nafs. Has everybody heard this term before, tazkiyatun nafs? No? All right, so this is how it's spelled, tazkiyatun nafs. So tazkiyah and nafs. All right? So the term tazkiyatun nafs is a term which means purification of the nafs, or purification of the soul. When the Quran uses the term nafs, it uses it in several different ways. But amongst those ways is about the self. Sometimes it talks about the entire person, or sometimes it speaks about specifically about something which is known as the nafs, or the inner part of us. So when we talk about Islamic sciences, there are sciences that we will be discussing which relate to the sciences of the Quran, ulumul Quran. There is a science of hadith, okay, ulumul hadith, or the sciences of hadith. Okay. There's the sciences related to fiqh, usulul fiqh, or the principles of fiqh. And then, so there are other sciences, and all of these sciences has to do with things which are around us, things that we have to do and so on. And how we relate to the world around us, how we relate to other people. So when we speak about something like fiqh al-mu'amalat, anybody ever heard that term before? Fiqh al-mu'amalat? Okay, what does it mean? Just tell me the meaning. Yeah? Okay.
You can hear something before, but not heard about it.
Okay, all right. So fiqh, it means jurisprudence, okay?
Yes.
Okay, and mu'amalat has to do with social relations. So how you relate to your neighbors, how you relate to friends, if it is that you're in business, how you would act as a business person, how you would act as an employer, how you would act as an employee. So all of these are sciences, which is called fiqh al-mu'amalat, all right? So when we speak about things which are related to this topic of tazkiyatun nafs, what we are talking about are things which are related to our inner being. And more so, that which is related to us and our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how we relate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this particular topic, this is very different from all the other sciences that you'll be looking at, because it's about you trying to develop a personal relationship with Allah. And when we speak about this subject of tazkiyatun nafs, we are talking about how we develop we've heard the word adab. Has everybody heard the word adab before? What does the word adab mean? Huh? Conduct or etiquette, isn't it? Etiquette. So you have adab, or way that if it is that you will enter into the home, or the way that you would behave with others, there is adab, right? That etiquette, how you relate to others. Now the adab that we are going to speak about, or the etiquette that we are going to speak about, is the etiquette about how we relate to Allah. So there is etiquette with respect to other human beings. There is also an etiquette with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we speak about this etiquette of how we relate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we in a sense are trying to enter or to go onto a journey. And this journey is one, it doesn't matter where you are along the path of this journey, but you are on a journey without you realizing it. Sometimes you can be moving away from your goal or from your destination, and sometimes you are moving towards that destination. So we are about to undergo a journey. This is a journey to Allah, with Allah, okay? A journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this journey is something which starts with a moment of cognition or a moment of recognition, where you suddenly realize that there is some being who is responsible for my well-being. It comes from a moment of what the Quran describes as hamd, or praise, of shukr, of thankfulness, where you begin to thank Allah for all that He has given you. And you begin to realize how hopeless you are and how reliant you are upon Him. And you may be somebody who is sinning. You may be somebody who never prayed before, never sort of was consumed with any form of religion before. You may have been deviating for a long time. But suddenly you find yourself in a state of whereby you want to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the way that we are going to undertake this journey is that we are going to undertake this journey through what are known as aphorisms. And aphorisms that we're going to use to be able to draw these concepts. So I'm not going to tell you what they are, but we are all going to derive them together. And the aphorisms that we're going to use are from the aphorisms from someone from a book called the Hikam. It's called the Hikam, which are words or word of wisdom. So the Hikams are words of wisdom, and each word of wisdom which is in the Hikam is called a hikmah. And the Hikam that we're going to use are the words which were put together by somebody, a great scholar in the past, okay, from Egypt. His name was Ibn Ata'Allah. Ibn Ata'Allah was a great scholar, not of the sciences, just of the sciences of the heart, but also he was a great scholar of all different disciplines, especially a lot of Hanbali, fiqh, of Quran, hadith, what have you. He is a well-known figure. Everywhere that you go, and if you go to Egypt, you know, everybody knows who Ibn Ata'Allah is. I had the fortunate opportunity to even visit his mosque when I was there in Alexandria. But it's not just about taking the words which he said, but we are going to try and match what he says with the Quran and with the hadith and see whether or not it makes sense. Because there are some people who may take these words, these beautiful aphorisms, and then they may take it to another extreme, or they may not fully understand what it means. And that is why there has developed in Islam so many what I would call deviant sects, or people who they're not clear about what it is. So they might take words from the Hikam and then they might do all sorts of things with it. They may not understand, you know, about the idea of seclusion, the idea of hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we are going to look into all of these things, inshallah. So in the start of this journey, I'm starting with this particular aphorism. And Ibn Ata'Allah tells us that there is no real distance between you and him in order for you to journey. And the connection between you and him is not such that you must mend it. Okay, so that's the first one. Now I know some of you are not into, you know, whatever it is, you know, into poetry and this kind of thing. But so you need to start putting on your thinking caps, because he's asking you to put your thinking caps on. So you need to be in groups of 4. So if you're in groups of 5, if you can, or groups of less than 5, if you can come to another table, okay, that's fine. So we have, so that everybody can get a chance. So we're going to go through them together. So the way we're going to do it is I'm going to give each of you just a few minutes to look at each aphorism, and then we're going to study it together, okay? So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to look at this first one. So look at it individually as a group and then see what you think it means. All right, so that's the way that we're going to do it, inshallah. You got